trusted him.
To God, I hope you don't mind, but I would like to talk to you. There are some things we need to straighten out. It's about these Christians. They claim to be from your nation, but man, you should see the things they do. All the time blaming it on you. Raping the earth, lying, taking more than they need in all the forms of the greeds. They say it's God's will.
What's up, everybody? This is Lucky Loco with the Lucky Loco Show. I appreciate you guys tapping in. Today I'm going to talk about Pueblo, Colorado. Okay, so I haven't seen my uncle in years, and this dude was like a father figure. I mean, like years, probably like a decade and a half. He moved to Colorado first. Actually, I have a lot of family out there. So I get out there and I have my baby's mom with me and my daughter. So we get out there, he's showing us around, I catch the Greyhound. It's a super long trip from Canada to Colorado. So I'm a complete foreigner, talk different. Still kind of got, I still got that Canadian accent, but yeah, so I get out there and I meet everybody. I'm there for maybe like a week, and we're broke. We're kids. So we get out there, and just the whole trip of going from Canada to America. So I'm gonna also talk about like the prices of everything too. So the prices of like food wise was just crazy. We were blown away by it. By how expensive it is in Canada compared to America. You may see on the back of a book or a magazine, like it's $3.95 in America, and Canada is like $8.99. So that's basically how the ratio of everything is out there compared to Pueblo. So I'm out there for maybe like 2 weeks, maybe a month. My uncle gets me a job at a roofing company. So I'm out there roofing. His girlfriend, my uncle's girlfriend at the time, starts getting jealous of my baby's mom, and they kick us out. Like, we had nowhere to go. The guy from the roofing company was like, "Hey, I got a trailer. You can't stay there that long. Get on your feet." And so we get there, and my baby's mom's not digging it. And she's like, "Man, F this, I'm out of here." Me and her, argue, whatnot. It is what it is. And she ends up taking off back to Canada. And I'm broke. I'm out there in Pueblo. So I'm over there. I'm homeless. So I'm staying in this, staying with these friends that are from the roofing company, and that only lasts so long. You know what I mean? They're like, "Man, this dude ain't working, he's eating," and people felt sorry for the baby, but now the baby and the baby mom gone, they're like, "All right, you gotta go, dude," which is understandable. All right, I did. So I go over to Phil's Diner and apply for a job. And as I was walking out, the guy's like, "Hey, you don't have a social security number?" I was like, "No, I don't." I was like, "I'm from Canada, bro." And he was just like, "Oh, okay. I'm looking for somebody. Can you come back tonight?" So I go back, and he needs a dishwasher. So I get, start dishwashing. I'm staying in cars. I'm staying in houses that are for rent. Because as you heard on my other spills, I was a really great burglar. Like, I was really great at that. It sounds messed up, but I was. So I know how to pop the window without it breaking or even seeing that it was broken into. So I pop a window and hop in, turn the heater on, and go to sleep. Wake up in the morning before the sun comes up, dip out, come back and see that nobody noticed, spend the night again. So I'm doing this. I'm being a dishwasher. Juan's really, taking a liking to me, and it's crazy because he's taking a liking to me, and I start working at the restaurant. He's like, hey, are you tired of being a dishwasher? Do you want to get paid a little bit more? I was like, I know how to cook, and I'm just a kid, so he's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and throw you on the line. So I'm cooking, and for anybody that's from Pueblo knows about Phil's Diner over on Lake Avenue, like straight crazy, like 24-hour cafe, Phil's Diner. It's a rowdy place. Right up the street is a halfway house on Lake Avenue. And then I had to have all these Mexican bars right there. They have all these bars. It's like the party spot right there in Pueblo. I don't think it's like that anymore. But I'm staying over there, and he's like, hey, he's like, I noticed you kind of wearing the same clothes when you come in. He's like, what's your living situation like? And I was like, man, I'm homeless. I got nowhere to go. And he's like, hey, I have a cook. That's a bachelor. He wouldn't mind you staying there. Throw him a few bucks. He'll be happy. So I meet the cook. The other cook, he starts training me. He's like, yeah, that bro, no problem. So I go start staying with him. And then my boss comes over. And he was like, he's like, man, he goes, he's like, do you want to get high? I was like, no. He's like, well, do you drink? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, I'll go grab you a 12-pack, and I'll kick back and smoke or whatever. And yeah, so he kicks back. I'm drinking a beer and, playing music or whatever. This is back in like the 90s or whatever. Kicking back, and I thought it was gonna be weed. He pulls out a big old bag and starts, putting on the foil and going to town. And it was yay. And he was just like, and I was like, oh fuck. So there's, dudes over there. I drink, party down, and I go to sleep. And I wake up and he's still there. I was like, holy shit, dude. He's like, so you don't party at all? And I was like, nah, dude, I'm good. And I go to work, and his wife's there. Hey, have you seen Juan? Did you go by your guys' place? And he told, if you see her, don't tell her. So I'm like, okay, nah, I didn't see him, man. And then go back to the place, and he's still there. I'm like, holy shit, dude. And he's like, well, since you don't party, he's like, here. And he breaks me down like a big old bag, like on the front. It was like a half ounce. So I weigh it up, start bagging it up, and I start hustling. So I'm, and then he was like, it got to the point where, I was hustling for him. Then I just started like doing my own thing. So I started hustling, get my own place. But it was a motel, but it was my own place. It was my own space. I didn't let him know where the fuck I stayed because I didn't want him coming over there doing that bullshit at my place. So, start hustling, and I start going to the bar, and getting over there, and people started kind of, recognizing me from hustling. And so the bartender at the bar it wasn't even the bartender, it was this dude. Comes up and, hey man, what's up? Can I get something? Because he seen me hustling. I don't know who he was, and so I was like, I know what you're talking about, bro. And then he was just like, so you want me to do it in front of you? And all, I was just like leery of him. I didn't even want anything to do with it. So I'm just at the bar, and it kept going back for about maybe 2 weeks straight. Like after work, I'd go back and I'd start hustling and drinking beer. So he comes up and he starts getting all chummy, like every other day. Starts getting all chummy, and was like, hey, look. Here's some free pitchers of beer, and here's some free shots of tequila. So I was drinking beer and tequila, so I'm drinking all these beers with him, chopping it up. And then he was like, man, let me cop something, bro. And I was like, nah, here you go. Since you looked out for me, I'll look out for you. So give it to him, and then they're in. And like every single day, they were just, getting it too. And I go to the bar, I'm getting free drinks. Everybody's starting to know me. It was just crazy. It was like, okay, So homeboy that I was hustling for and copping from, he starts getting strung out, and then he starts. I can't cop from him no more. I was like, shit, I don't even really know anybody around this town. Nobody, and I'm looking, and all these people see this young ass kid out there trying to get work. And I was like, shit. And I was like, okay. I got like a open container ticket like long time ago for having an open beer, and so I go to Colorado. I mean, I'm fucking cruising with this dude, and he gets pulled over. He's drunk as shit. Gets a DUI. Like, oh, you're coming with us too. You have an open container ticket that you haven't paid. I think it was like 2 days, and I'm in there, and I meet this dude, and he was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" We just hit off. He was this Latin Ace dude. It's a Chicano gang out there in Pueblo, and he was like, "Hey, bro, you want to kick it? Get out when you get out of here, man. Here's my number. I should be out in a couple weeks." So I'm back to the same shit. So the homeboy's strung out. Restaurant gets shut down. And I'm over there, and I'm looking for work, but like I said, I have no social security number, no nothing. So I start, just walking around like, hey, construction workers, anything. I was like, hey, you guys need help today? You guys, and I'm getting grimy. Like, it was bad. I was just like, okay. And I finally get a hold of the homeboy that was in county jail, and he was like, hey, man, where you at? I'll come pick you up. Comes and picks me up, takes me out to eat. I haven't eaten in like 2 days. I'm just, my uncle's doing his own thing. Still kind of pissed off about him about that. And, he was just like, oh, here's $5. It was, so he picks me up, and he's like, man, what's up? You fucking grubbing your food all crazy and kind of stink. I was like, I know, bro, I'm homeless. It's just like, he's like, man, he goes, I got a spot for you, bro. He goes, I'm going to go over there, we're going to go chill, and I'm going to act like, hey, I'm going to go to the store and not come back, and homeboy's going to let you stay at his crib, and he did. I was kicking back, and he had this dude in there, and this dude was hustling, and it was this black dude. He was hustling, and he was making his fucking bank. It was just nonstop action right there. I was like, God damn. And he kept breaking, for every 100 he made in there, he'd break the dude off like a 20 rock. Or 20 whatever. And he breaks him off, and then he was like, hey, what's up? You want a beer? And I drink a beer with him. I was like, hey, what's up? And then dude was like, hey, what's up with homeboy? You ain't coming back? He's like, nah, I don't know. And he's like, your place to crash? You go ahead and crash on my couch. And I was like, all right, cool. And so the homeboy hustling was like, hey, he's like, you don't fuck around, huh? And I was like, nah, I'm cool, bro. And he was just like, he's like, all right, check this out. He goes, looks like you're in a bad situation. Next sale's yours. I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, next sale's yours, and I'll double whatever they do. So I was like, all right, cool, bro. And then the sale comes through, and he's a man of his word. Somebody spent a $40, and I got $40 in work. And so I give him the 40, and he was like, next sale's yours, bro, don't you trip. Somebody comes for 20, somebody comes for another 20. So I got my own. So I started hustling right then and there, and he was like, here you go. Here's another double up. So I'm like, oh, dang. So the homeboy that's let me crash there, I start breaking him off too, because, man, I ain't trying to be out in the streets. And so he starts doubling me up. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm going to go check out the spot. And then he's like, but the only thing is you can't hustle here. This is my place. And I was like, all right, because I started getting double ups. And so the next day I got like a ball. And I go back over to Lake Avenue, same bar, same place. And I go over there and I start hanging out. As soon as I get there, everything's gone. I was like, damn, sir. I go back way the fuck over to where I was at out in Belmont from Lake Avenue. Everybody knows that's a trip. So homeboy gives me a ride over there, double up. Go back, or not double up, go get that again. I got like $700, so I go stay in the motel again. And then this is where I go back to the bar, and I'm hustling. So I was like, okay, so I got like about maybe $900 in about like 4 or 5 hours. So I got $900. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna call it a night and go kick back. So I leave that bar and go down to a different bar, and I'm sitting there, and this guy, he's like, hey man, nice shades, and he just kind of, and then he was like, oh, thank you, bro. Had these Lokes on, and he was just like, hey bro, what's up? And I was like, hey, what's up, bro? So I just came here to have a beer, and he goes, oh, could I buy you a beer? And I looked at him, and I was like, hey man, what the fuck is saying like that? And then he was like, it's like, shit, I ain't like that either, motherfucker. I'm over here just trying to be cool. You look like a cool dude. It's my wife over here, my homie. And I was like, oh shit, my bad, dude. And so, you know, I'm a kid. I'm not even supposed to be in this bar. So I'm over there, I'm drinking. And he was with this white dude. And then I meet him, and I was like, oh, hey, what's up, man? He goes, oh, you're over there at the motel. And I was like, shh, don't be telling nobody. And then he was like, yeah, I recognize you. You moved in a couple days ago. And I was like, yeah. And I'll get into a story about that guy. That guy's actually one of my best friends to this day. So as time goes on, I start hustling. I'm out for maybe like 3 days. So I get up to the point where I'm making these trips back and forth to Belmont. And I go from 8 ball to like quarter ounce to ounce, to where I'm getting tired of going back and forth because I'm dumping everything as soon as I get it. And these are chopped up. I mean, I get back and I'll chop it up and it's gone. Like, it's like everything's coming and going. And there's a racetrack up the street, and these people, the dog racers, had money. And they were just constantly front door, back door, front door, back door. This is when you had a pager and a phone, and it wasn't even a cell phone, bro. It was just a phone in the hotel room, and that was just going off. So it got to the point to where I would show up to the guy's house, the one that put me on, and he started getting like jealous, bro. He was just like, he started like giving me like this weird like vibe, like, man, fuck this dude. And he goes, hey homie, I don't got what you want right now. He goes, you keep coming back, and he goes, I think you can do better with this guy. So the guy he introduces me to is from California, and the other people are from California too. And they're these Crip dudes from out that way. I'm not gonna name drop them or what hood they're from, but yeah. So you can tell they're fresh. They got brand new clothes, brand new cars, chains. They're just doing it, bro. So I start messing with them, and I start reading up from them. And the main guy out of all of them, he really dug the shit out of me. He's like, man, you a hustler, dude. You know how to get it. Because I went over there and I bought 4 of them. 4 zips. And I go over there, and the next day, it's gone, bro. So I haven't even went to sleep yet. And I go back and get 9 of them. And I'm just like, dang. He's like, what the fuck, dude? And so out of that whole like week, that's all I'd get, because I started getting scared of like kingpin status and all this other stuff, and didn't know who they were messing with and what kind, you know, with that kind of so they start like, hey man, those apartments are cool, or that bar and everything over there is cool. If you ever want to come over here to where homeboy's at. And he kind of was getting salty too. He was just like, man, fuck this motherfucker. But he was but I'm friends with the main fucking motherfucker. So, and he wasn't no joke. You can tell he wasn't no joke. He was about that business. He was just on it. So he was like, hey, there's these apartments right over here. And it started getting into where we're hustling. Like, I'm hustling. Like, I got cars, I got chains, I wouldn't even, like, it was so crazy. I went and got me an apartment, and I wouldn't even really take my clothes to the laundromat. I would just go buy brand new clothes and throw them in the closet. And, you know, and when I did do my laundry, it was crazy. I'd find like $700, $300, $40, find work. I'm like, God damn, I got to start fucking putting my money up. And, you know, I start hustling, and I was just like, man, these people, like, it was like every day like I'd wake up at about 3 p.m. because I was on it all night, bro. I was just out there hustling. Like, it was, got to the point where I started enterprising, get my own crew. And then we started taking over places, and and the people I knew weren't friends no more. We were competition, so we were going at it. I'd go take over their spot, and they would feel some type of way, and we would be at it. That's when I told you about the Spice One CD saving my life. But yeah, I was hustling. I was putting money up. And this is back when they had the projector screens. Like, I had this big old projector screen. I had the PlayStation. It was just nuts. Like, to have that type of money, and I started dressing like a douchebag. The whole douchebag drug dealer, hair prepped all the time, jewelry, looking fresh, smelling fresh. And I started getting attention. I started, people telling on me. People, it was just at the point where I was like, okay, I don't even got to hustle no more. I'm just going to start setting up shop and be there. Like, my homeboys, my little homies that I got now, I'm going to start hustling. So we start this whole crew, and I was just out there doing it, man. We were like, any place that had money, I was there. Any place that people that didn't have a crew or the Cali connections like I did, we were over there taking it over. Like, it was like, these people were just, that was their life, man. They were, you can tell that they were down to put in work and hanging around with them type of people. I was down to put in work too. And, unfortunately, they did put in work, and the Fed started getting involved. And it was nuts, dude. It was really crazy. It was, but it wasn't just that incident. It was a lot of things, getting the attention. And then the Feds weren't even like shy about it. They started taking pictures, and that's when I was like, man, I'm out of it. I'm done. I'm not. I was like, I gotta go find a job. I gotta go do something. And then I was so low on the totem pole with those big old dudes when the Feds did come get him. It was crazy. It was like all my friends were gone. All the hustlers were gone. And the crazy thing is they only knew me as Big Man. And I only knew them by their nicknames too. So if they were going to tell on me, they know my real name. And it was a trip. And that's like how it all started, from Phil's Diner restaurant to being homeless, to being on the streets, to hustling. So I've always been about that paper. I've always came up, and I was lucky enough to dodge that drug sting, but they came and got him. Unfortunately, even though they were about that action, a lot of them started flipping on each other. And a lot of them started getting in the Feds too, because people are like, telling me, "Oh, your homeboy got," and it sure enough, yeah, they were getting got in the Feds. But it was, yeah, it was nuts how it all turned out, man. It was a really big time to make money at that moment, because after when they got swept up, I still had about maybe 10 of them. So I'm out there, and I'm cutting them 20s in half and selling them for 20, because I'm the only motherfucker with that had to work. So and then I had to start enterprising and start meeting other people. So I'm just like, man, okay, let me test the waters. I'm going to go see homeboy over here in Colorado Springs, see what he's about. And it was just shady, man. It was really, really shady. I had this strap I used to carry with me all the time, and he was just like, "Oh, just hang out here." And I can feel, you're not stupid when you're in the game. You can feel the tension in the room, and I pulled it out, and I cocked it back, and I was like, "All right," I said, "I'm gonna leave." And I said, "Anybody fucking steps towards me, it's crunch time." And so I left, and homeboy, "Oh, what were you tripping on?" And I was like, "Man, I ain't fucking stupid, bro." So I stopped fucking with him and started meeting these people in Denver. these Asian people in Denver and start messing with them, bro. And it was just, this is just a backstory of what I've been through. And, it's, and I'll talk about when I got busted too. And in this situation I've been in. So I'll definitely keep you updated on that. That's the beginning of a really good time. When you have that type of money, you got that type of swag, you got that type of, but I mean, it's not bragging and not telling anybody to do it. If you're in the hustle game, I ain't knocking you. But I ain't never going back to that lifestyle ever again. I ruined a lot of people's lives. A lot of people got hurt. I ruined a lot of marriages. Kids went without food because of my greed. And, some kids got taken away. And, families were torn apart. I mean, it may sound all cool, like, oh, you're making all this money, bro, but at what cost? So, I'll never, ever, ever pick up a bag. Ever again. I'll never put myself in a situation to where I'm going to be locked away. I'm never, ever going to, man, as tempting as it is, a few years ago, a homeboy just got out of prison, started getting at me. Just like, man, you want to, I'll send him over there right now. It's like, nah, I'm cool, bro. How tempting that is to get back into a game and talk about like all that stuff, but at what cost? How many people I gotta hurt? How many families do I have to ruin? And I'm just not with it. So when you have time to sit back in prison of all the stuff you did, man, that's the first thing I started thinking about is the lives I ruined, the marriages I ruined, the kids that got taken away and put in foster care because their parents are just too strung out and lost their house and lost their cars. And it's a horrible life, and it's a horrible way to make money. You know what I mean? And I'm next to selling tobacco for the tobacco companies. Alcohol companies. They kill their customers or whatever. But yeah, that's my spill, and that's the reason why Lucky Loco will never ever pick up a bag again, and he will just chill and be broke, looking dusty. Look at this. I ain't looking sharp. My head losing my hair, but I'm out here with my family. I'm out here with you guys. I'm out here living a good life. I may not have everything I want, but I got everything I need. Peace, love, and fish grease, or fry bread grease, in that matter. All right, much love and respect, you guys. Lucky Loco, and I'm tapping out.